In this lesson, you're going to be working on finding the perimeter of composite figures. So the perimeter is still what you've been doing, okay, where we're adding up the outside numbers, the outside length to find the distance around a shape. But the figures are going to be a little more complicated, and they're going to have some missing numbers that we're going to have to figure out. So let's take a look at this one. We know this is 11, we have 3, 5, 2, 4, 3. Okay, we're missing this one right here. Well, if I look, right here is 4. So I can say, okay, that's the same length. It's right across the rectangle, so that must also be 4. Go ahead, label that on your paper. Then I have 6. Then I have another missing one and another missing one. So I'm going to erase some of this just so I can show you what I'm talking about. So I know this one is 4. Now, if I know, let's start with this long one here. So I can look across and I can say, okay, well, if I were to imagine this was a rectangle, then I know this part would be 3 because this part is 3. And if I were to imagine this is a rectangle, then I know this part would be 2 because this part is 2. And then if I were to imagine this is a rectangle, I know this part is 3 because this part is 3. And I know this part is 6 because this part is 6. So I can always look across to see if that can give me information that I need. So then if I add all those together, 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6, I should get 14 as that side length. Now, if I look at the bottom here, again, let me clear some of this out. If I say, okay, if this whole thing is 11, and this part of it here is 5, well, what would this other part be? Something plus 5 equals 11. What is that? That's 6. So I know that that bottom part is 6. So now all I have to do is add up, add up the sides. So I have 11 plus 3 plus 5 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. I missed that 4 in there. Plus the other 4 plus the other 6 plus another 6 plus the big long 14. All right, let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I just want to make sure I had all the sides. So then I can add that up. I'm going to go ahead and add it up on my calculator. Not that I couldn't do it on paper or in my head, but sometimes we just use a calculator to be more efficient. All right, if I added right, I got 48. It's in centimeters. Perimeter is always just the distance, so 48 centimeters. And if I got it wrong, let me know, because I absolutely could have typed something in my calculator wrong. So again, there's not necessarily a formula or a strategy I can totally say this will always work with composite figures. It requires some good problem solving and thinking. Let's go to another example. This one's a little simpler. So I have 8 over here. I have 5, 4, and 3. So I'm just missing these 2 right here. Let's look and say, okay, if this whole thing is 5, and I know if I were to imagine, I'll dot a line straight down, this part over here is 3. So I say, okay, well, what's this missing part? Something plus 3 equals 5. Well, that's 2. So I know this is 2, which would make that 2. Okay? Again, make sure you're writing this with me. So now I can say, okay, if this whole thing is 8, and this part of it is, look across the rectangle, 4, then I know this missing part, something plus 4 is 8. That is 4. So you might be saying, but it doesn't look like the same size. That's what I was saying in the other lesson. It's not always drawn to scale. So I do know that that is 4 right there. And they're not doing it to try to trick you. They're just trying to make sure you are doing the math, not just guessing based on how big it looks. So now I can just find the perimeter by adding them together. 8 plus 5 plus 4 plus 2 plus 4 plus 3. Okay, not as many numbers this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So if I add it up, 13 plus 4 is 17, 18, 19, 19 plus 7 is 26. So 26 centimeters is my perimeter of this composite shape. Make sure you've got that written down. If you need to pause it, go ahead. One more example. Again, I have some numbers, I have some missing numbers. So I can see down here, these are the 2 numbers I'm missing. Well, this one right away, I can, if I look across here, oh, that's a rectangle, so I can see that that is 5. Because I can just look right across. Now this other one, you might have a guess and say, okay, it looks about like whatever, but let's actually figure it out. I know this part of it is 6, because if I look across there, I can see that. And then I can say, okay, this is the part that I'm looking for. Well, if this whole thing is 12, and this part of it is 6, 6 plus something is going to equal 12. 6 plus 6 equals 12. So then this 6, or that's also going to be 6. I'm going to erase the 6 in the middle because that's not part of the outside perimeter. I'm also going to say if I have 6 and 6 over here, it's going to be 12 because it'll be easier to add up. All right. Make sure I'm not missing numbers. So I have 12 plus, ooh, I have a missing number here too. Almost missed that again. But if I look across the rectangle, whoop, I see that it's 4. Because the opposite sides of rectangles are always the same. So I have 12 plus 4 plus 6 plus 5. I just go right in order around the shape so I don't miss any. Plus 12 plus 5 plus 6 plus 4. Go ahead, see if you can figure it out while I'm figuring it out. All right, what'd you get? I got 54 centimeters as my perimeter once I figured out the missing numbers and added them all together. If I'm wrong, let me know, because again, I type things in wrong all the time. All right, and that is it. So go ahead and do your practice. Make sure your notes are complete, and let me know if you have questions.